Yeah, it was one of the gang stalkers. That's his van. And there's a drone up there. It's going to follow me. As we can see, he's coming this way. And it's, I'm really worried. I've got some really big concerns because I was kind of being baited to go somewhere tonight, and I was smart enough to say no. And my credit card was stolen, so I'm kind of confined here. I can't move. I can't even get my credit card to be reinstated or add extra security or have them reimburse my bank with my money that I actually have on a card that it's a prepaid. So, I mean, it's my cash, but yet I can't have it for 10 days. And so this is all turning out to be like just, it doesn't matter. Everything is always difficult. Doesn't matter what it is. So now I'm confined. I can't get out of here. I tried to get the bus earlier. I was standing right at the bus stop and he drove right past me. Last bus leaving Parksville tonight. My so-called boyfriend is not allowing me to stay at his house. You know, he'd rather see me out on the street, but I'm not going to mention his name, but he's my handler, so of course, you know, he's not against me. And my house had been burnt down intentionally, I'm sure, to hide evidence of things like my tap being poisoned, and my teeth have all been they look rotten, but I'm sure that my dentist was actually part of it, and that water from my tap, I will show you pictures of what my faucet looked like. And anyway, just out of the blue, I had a feeling to go break open that faucet, and sure enough, I found something that was really disturbing, especially since I have 2 children, with the youngest one being a baby at the time that my landlady had renovated that bathroom. I had been electronically harassed in the home. I had wires constantly changing, and I have evidence of that as well. So anyway, I guess to hide the evidence, somebody went in there and burnt the house down, and then the police were looking for me. I guess they were going to try to accuse me of burning it down, but I mean, come on. I had everything, all of my worldly possessions in there, a $50,000 painting. There was over $100,000 worth of stuff, and I'm not insured. So I've lost everything. I've watched my kid, my oldest, he doesn't even remember me being his mom, so I thought, you know, mind control is real. I've seen it, I've witnessed it. This whole McCulture experiment shit. They use these electronic harassment to cause problems. Maybe possibly give you cancer or what have you. I had great big cysts under my arms, and I couldn't go to the doctor because, unfortunately, any government agency, there's corruption. And I know because I was working in a homeless shelter, and I had people come in and tell me that, you know, they went to the doctor and they were targets, and they went to the doctor. And maybe it's people just trying to fool me so that I don't go to get the help I need when I need it. But I do happen to know that there is corruption in government agencies because I've witnessed it with the school board with my oldest son. They're trying to say that he can't concentrate in the classroom because of flashing lights, which is a load of crap. He's a target. And then I had a gas leak in my house. I phoned the fire department, and then I was arrested and put in a psych ward for a couple of days. I didn't even know that a psych ward had, like, what is a jail cell in the back, and they treated me like a dog. They put me on the floor without a bed. And anyways, they kept me there for 2 days. I'm gonna look like I'm talking to myself because cold out here. Yeah. But yeah, another night in the evening, I went to the bank. Hello? Hello? Anyway, yeah, I went to the bank and I went to Shoppers Drug Mart and then to Dairy Queen, and then I was arrested for being intoxicated in public. And I hadn't had a drink in I don't know how many years, but it doesn't even matter. Drinking was never an issue to me. And I don't drink. I can't say I don't drink because if an opportunity came along and I felt like it, I would. But I haven't drank in years because I don't feel like it. But anyway, yeah. So they arrested me and put me in a holding cell in the Parksville prison, saying that I was intoxicated in public. And the next morning, I woke up and my face was unrecognizable. It was swollen up so bad. And I was sure the reason why they did that was so they can confine me to electronically harass me all night. And I'm sure that was it, because I was going down to the beach to get away from it. And I've come to find that they can still get you from something under the ground anyways. I think that there's tunnels throughout the whole city here at Parksville, and they've got something that they can find you, and they harass you from your feet up or what have you. But at the beach, they couldn't do that because there's sand and stuff. And at that particular time, I had no idea about those handheld devices. I forget what they're called. But anyway, because I was going down to the beach and they hadn't yet got anybody to start doing that to me, they instead arrested me and put me in the cell for the night. And it's the same as the psych wards, because when they finally let me out of that back room there, and anybody can even investigate this if you don't believe me, go into the emergency psych ward and you'll see that the staff area is enclosed completely from the floor up, in glass. So I guess when they decide they're going to electronically harass all of the patients, then all of them go in there and they're safe from it. Go and find out for yourself if you don't believe me. Walk in there and take a look around and ask some questions. Why do you guys have this completely sealed in here? What's going on? Like, doesn't anybody ever notice these things or ask questions of why? Or does everybody know about all this? And I was just so naive, I had no idea, and that's why I'm a target, because I can honestly say that, as crazy as this sounds, for the majority of the whole town of Parksville are actually involved in this. It's almost like an alien invasion. It just doesn't make any sense. Like how everybody can be involved in attacking an innocent person for no real reason, other than, now I'm talking about these electronic things that are handheld now, because after that incident with the police, I went down to the beach one night and there were like about 5 or 6 different lights on me. So I approached one area where they were, and there were some teenagers there, and they started harassing me, calling me a crackhead. Now, I'm sure that the reason why they did this to my teeth was to manipulate it to look like I am a drug addict, so that when I tell anybody my testimony, they'll just automatically dismiss it as that I am some messed up person, because after all, it does sound crazy. Anyway, I will show pictures of what was in my top. And not only that, there were wires in my hall closet that were protruding out of the wall. And I found them after hearing something in my closet, so I went to investigate. And sure enough, found these wires that weren't there before. I pulled them out, and it looked like they were about to start a fire. So I told my landlady about it, and she said, well, what do you expect me to do about it? And I said, well, if I were you, I would get an electrician in, because, if nobody asked me to come in here and you're telling me you don't know anything about it, well, if there's ever a fire, you're not going to be insured. Well, yeah, that's funny. I said that because then what happened? My house gets burned down. Yeah. Anyway, I had asked her to do something about all of the wires that were going on and being installed in my crawl space as well, because I knew then I was being harassed, because I started feeling sick and getting headaches for the first time in my life, and I was incapable of doing anything to pack up my house to move, and all this stuff that was going on, and she wouldn't even bother to help out with what it was that I was complaining about, and she just denied even knowing anything about it, which I know was not true. Because the first time that I had been harassed, the absolute worst, she went away for a while, and so did my other neighbor. So they knew that, that whole spectrum was probably going to cover going into their yards and infect them too. So I had the heads up. Now, as far as it goes with my house being burned down, I left the province here for a month, and I came back 2 weeks early, and I guess with the grace of God that I did, because when I came back, they were emptying out my house. And I noticed there was a lot of stuff in the yard that was still in good shape. And so I approached the people that were cleaning the yard, and I asked if, if they've seen any pictures, if I could possibly get them. And they said, yeah, we'll go ask Fran. And then the guy said, well, come with me for a minute, and we'll go see inside the house. I put my backpack down for just a minute, and there's only one other person in the yard, the fellow that was working with him. And immediately after I left the yard, I opened up my bag, and sure enough, my driver's license and my Visa card were stolen. I know who did it, obviously them, but hey, what am I going to do about it, right? Call the police? I mean, my word against theirs, and I know the police are also corrupt, because I've been harassed not only by being arrested and brought to the holding cell and going into the psych ward, but they've come to my house, and this one woman cop, she's telling me I'm an idiot and everything else. I mean, total police brutality, and that's for no reason. And one of their agendas too is try to keep telling everybody that I'm crazy, because then she kept saying, "Oh, you're just crazy," and that's like, they constantly are saying that kind of thing. Now, what has motivated that? Well, the Ministry of Children and Family Development had actually unjustly apprehended my youngest child on 2 different occasions. I want to know why they would do something like that, so I dug too deep and found out too much information. I thought that is what motivated them to target me, but I've come to find that, no, I've been targeted for probably the majority of my entire life. Anyway, all this stuff is just crazy. I don't have any data on my phone because I had a plan with Bell for the longest time. I was a loyal customer. And then suddenly my bill, which I only owe $200, is now a $1,000 bill, and I'm not paying for something I didn't do, but they're insisting that I have to pay it, so I just canceled it. There's so many inflictions that are imposed upon a person who's a target, and a lot of it is it's crap. They just want to try to constantly make problems for you. Now, another thing, they are doing it to my kids, and this electronic harassment stuff, I know what they're doing. I said my oldest son doesn't even remember me being his mother. I was his primary caregiver all of his life. I'm the one that did everything for him, took him places, taught him to ride his bike and everything. And now he doesn't remember, and the things that he can remember, he credits his father for. And I think that that's what their intent is to do with my youngest as well. Because last night I watched as the radiation was going in that little boy's room while he was in bed sleeping, and it really bothered me to see that. And these guys are pros. They are trained by our military to know how to be secretive and stuff, and it's just all crazy. He's only just 4 years old now, and he's had nothing but a rough life since he was born, and it's not fair. And the reason why they're doing it is, what I have come to find with research is they want to terrorize children to cause multiple personality disorder, which then would provide them opportunities to gain access for mind control. And mind control is real. I've witnessed it. And it's not people trying to pretend something just to, manipulate me. I mean, I can tell sincerity, and I can tell what's real and what it isn't when people are faking or not. I have discernment, and I'll tell you it is real, and I can guarantee you it's real. Anyway, what I was saying with not having data, I can walk down the street now when I'm not in a Wi-Fi area, and I won't have this on. And besides, they have opportunity, and they have done it all for a long time. They've erased a lot of my evidence of things that I've had and stuff, because they gain access to my phone. I'm constantly monitored, probably listening to me right now as we speak. There's people outside waiting for me. And tonight I'm concerned. They already know I left for a month. So they know there's nothing stopping me from going again, and they've tried to stop me with taking my credit card, and tonight, again, they tried to bait me into going somewhere, which I'm definitely not doing, and now I've got the drone out there watching my every move. I have nowhere to go. I'm stuck here with nowhere to stay for the night, so I'm very vulnerable. I can't go to my former spouses because as much as we were good friends, overnight he turned on me. Whether he joined forces with all of this because he thinks that, if he did, then the kids are going to be safe, because I'm sure that's probably what they did. They probably said, you know, well, they first off fed him a bunch of lies. And I told him, I said, Morgan, you know, I'm not trying to put you down or anything, but you need to think logically here. And you don't need to answer me, but go sit somewhere and think, how does this make any sense? They're empowering you as a parent. They're telling you how great you are and that you're the better one out of both of us. And you know the difference. That must say something. I showed him my tap, and he still doesn't get it. When I'm telling him, you know, the kids lived at the house with me when they did that. They're the main targets. So this is the manipulation, I think. They want to get me out of the way. Because after all, a mother is the biggest protector of her children, right? Once I'm gone, then they're going to go after Morgan. They had him help get rid of me. And then he's going to go, oh my God, she was right. And it will be too late because I won't be there to be able to help him. I've been trying to give him information that might help him in the future if that is going to be the case. He does not want to hear it. But then again, he behaves exactly like something that I've gained online about how people react when they're mind controlled, and he has the identical personality. Now, I can tell you that for sure, 100%, there is no way that he ever would have ever done this without being somehow brainwashed into it. And I do believe that he had handlers working on him for the last few years too. There's, you know, without a doubt, I could say that this is not who Morgan is. And it's sad. You know, all I can do is sit back and watch. I can't do anything. I feel so bloody helpless. I try to tell him, and they've been brainwashed so that I guess if I try to say something, they can't listen to it. They get mad at me. They don't realize that I'm actually trying to help. It's like I'm their enemy, and I'm just trying to help them. My oldest son's the same way. Anyway, my aunt, I went to her place the other night because I had nowhere to stay. I was in her yard, and sure enough, and here it is, 2 o'clock in the morning in the upper middle class neighborhood where people should be in bed, you know, sleeping because of work the next morning. And as I'm in her yard, all of a sudden I see her bedroom light flash off and on. Last summer, seen the same thing with a lady who worked for a company that I was working in a homeless shelter for. She actually was on the homelessness task force, and she's turning her light off and on to alert people where I was. That these are the kind of things that they do for signals. And my own family, you know, this is all crazy. I can understand why they want to use the crazy accusation because, I mean, after all, it is nuts. But they're the ones that invented it. I'm just the one that figured it out. And by the way, there's a lot of people who have been diagnosed with schizophrenia because they talk like this. So they say, oh, you have mental health issues. Now, those people, you know, because this is crazy, they might even question their own sanity. But I'll tell you right now, I am not questioning my sanity. I know what I'm talking about, and it's real. And I've got evidence. I can show you some things. I had a whole lot more, but they've just taken it right off my phone as quick as I got it. Anyway, I'm going to turn this off for a minute because I have to go to the bathroom. Sound like I'm talking to myself in here. I'm here by myself. They're all out there, so they probably know I have the recorder on. So anyway, or you might think I'm talking on the phone, or they're probably listening in on my phone. Who knows? Okay, I'm going to turn this off for a minute. No, bro. Cold. They probably have this plasma on me right now because what it feels like is like ice. It's cold. Turn this off for a minute. Let's see. Is it off or is it on? I don't know. Is that too good? Maybe they'll have access to photos camera. And then that's just the other thing. You got to keep allowing all these stupid apps. Like they just want it to be able to use because the government uses all these apps to mess me up. I want to see. I've been doing all this other stuff. This is where this goes to. From where I was after being a resident here for a long time, I had to leave and I didn't want to do that forever, so I came back. Didn't take the second I got back, it's been bad. Had my credit card with my driver's license stolen. I've been made to watch as they're destroying perfectly good furniture that was in my house. Although, it's fine, but again, lost it all. I was very upset mostly about pictures. And came back a couple weeks early, I guess just in time, because if I would have waited a couple weeks, there's no way that I would have ended up with those pictures. So God works in mysterious ways, because that was the one thing that bothered me the absolute most. So I got the pictures. It was stolen, so I am perfectly know who actually took it. But what can I do about it, right? Because I'm in a position here where even the police are corrupt. Not all of them, I shouldn't say all of them, but for the ones that I knew. Which I think that probably was motivated to have evidence that I found in the house. So first off, I do believe that my tap water was being poisoned or something. Because I found this really weird... Doing this was to discredit my testimony. Makes me look like I'm a drug addict. Like on drugs, and I mean, obviously, I don't know what I'm talking about, and, this is, after all, really bloody crazy shit, so, that would explain me talking crazy, but I'm druggy, which I'm not, I don't do drugs, but I will go to any lengths to try to discredit what I have to say, including alleging that I have mental health issues, and setting me up to be put in a psych ward. For what? So I can write that down on my record? Well, I didn't do anything the whole time I was in there, so there's nothing that you could say. In fact, while I was in there, a psych nurse came up to me and said that the Ministry of Children and Family Development had contacted them saying that I was an avid IV drug user. Now, why they would, want to allegate something that obviously I could prove that it wasn't true, it's beyond me, but I do have a theory. Thinking, we have a big fentanyl problem here in this town, well, I think all countrywide, and if they are making it out like I'm a druggie, and all of a sudden I just OD one day, then nobody will be suspicious, right? They'll just say, well, she was a drug addict, and that's what happened, consequently. I actually noticed it on the floor in our rec room in my baby's playroom downstairs. So, yeah, they were setting me up for that, too. All kinds of inflictions that go along with being the TI. Being overcharged for bills that you don't owe all that money. Having people call you 20 years later for some debt that you owed or you were dismissed from 20 years before, but they want the paperwork to prove it. Like, who keeps paperwork for 20 years? I mean, I normally would have probably had it, and I did actually, I think, have it, but then later I had bill collectors calling me harassing me for something that's so old and I had been pardoned for, but whatever. Yeah, I've had a lot of inflictions. Went without hydro for a whole month, or yeah, for a whole month, 1 year with my baby, who's still on a bottle. People are getting stuff and there's a drone outside, so I'm gonna have this on while I go there. But I do not have any data on my phone anymore because I had canceled it. Because I just decided, no, that's it for the phone company. I was some, you know, concerns with that. Oh, I shipped already. Hi. Just gonna get back to bathroom key.
It's okay. It's American one.
Oh, it's American?
Yeah. I thought it was that's an old one.
Yeah, I know, very old.
You should keep it because it's worth money. Yeah, American old coins are worth a lot. Not like our Canadian ones.
No, that's
so much
sorry,
because I'm the guy.
Sorry,
The what?
sorry about I
told you not to do that.
I went back to sleep.
You know what? I told you not to do that. You don't have to be sorry to me. I told you that.
And I fucking needed it.
Yeah. Well, and I'm telling you right now. I mean, honestly, I'm so grateful for everything. Like,
yeah, I know.
you have, I'm not in the least bit offended. I mean, you've done more than I ever expected. You have been so wonderful. And I really did want to give you gas, and there's no reason why I should be having this hassle, but that's just goes with territory, right? I can give you some.
No, it's okay. I'm gonna buy some.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just like kind of broke now because all my money was on that bloody car, so what can they do? But they're trying to keep me here. Well, I've got to really kind of look at it in that perspective. I mean, they must love me. They don't want me to go. So now I'm trying to learn how to do this backwards. I'm going to have to start it over. Sorry. I'm so tired that I can't function properly right now. So I got to think backwards. Okay. Okay, I got it.
Again.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
Cool.
What time is it anyways?
It's 11.
Okay. I thought you didn't start till midnight. 11? Oh, okay. Be with you night and day. Last time. It's a pretty good chocolate bar.
Those are good. Actually, I tried a new crispy crunch chocolate bar.
Oh yeah?
These ones? Caramel one?
Huh? Oh, I haven't tried that before.
Fucking good, yeah.
Are they? I'm a chocoholic.
We'll go out for school.
Yeah. Pardon?
It'll probably be busy here in the next couple of weeks.
I'm sorry, I can hear you. Look. Yeah, I'm gonna be gone. I'm sure I'll find places to stay. I got a couple of places I'm gonna go try. No. They always said no. I was okay. I mean, first off, they were trying to get me to take Dave Greg Bowser and drive his car back for him.
Oh, yeah.
But not in the No, I don't know better than that, right?
I would give me a ride.
No, damn, stop it. I asked it. Are you okay with it? Don't worry. It's okay.
Yeah.
It really is okay, you know?
I do. Everybody has their days. I had one of those days.
You know, like I said, you know, a long time ago, I felt like I was pushing it with you. Every time I asked you for something, and you know, that you know, so, you know, I told you.
Where the fucking cocksuckers just stole your fucking
My visa. And my driver's license. You know, that's my point, right? But yeah, no, he did say I didn't have my picture, so I went with him to the house for a minute, put my backpack on like an idiot. And, well, here's the story, actually. Greg and Herman were supposedly heading to Vancouver. I had to go to Nanaimo, so I set my driver's license and my visa. I put my driver's license and my visa in my wallet. Walked out the door. I was on my way to Kevin's, but I saw him right away. Opened up the bag, and my driver's license and visa was there. But you know what? I knew ahead of time. And I did that just before. Oh yeah, I definitely have to. I can't stay here.
Where were you?
I can't stay.
Where is it?
Good secret. But a good place, yes. And actually, my friends have decided that, you know, they want me to come back with my kids. And they're even going to accommodate us, like, renovate their house and everything, too. So we'll all have our own bedroom. We're going to do the basement so that if Triton wants, he can come back and he'll have his own bathroom attached to his bedroom. And park down there for it's, you know what, where I was,